Alright, welcome to the Byron Bay race report. It's currently the day after, so it's a Sunday because it was a Saturday race. I'm sitting in my car, as you can see. I've just finished a little training recovery session, and you're probably wondering why I'm bouncing but not going anywhere. It's because of this little machine. It's tensing and releasing my muscles. I've got it on my quads and my calves at the moment. I'll put it on my hammies, glutes and back later when I can lay on my belly. I had a solid training block leading into this race and I knew I was feeling really good. All my training was going good, my numbers were there, the mindset was there. The eating, the recovering, heaps of Cliff Bars, heaps of garden and vegan meals, plenty of time in at P3. The day before the race, before coaching the juniors, Brett did an activation session on me and found out I was actually not firing from core, I was firing from extremities. If you want to know what that means, you're going to have to chat to Brett. I can't really explain that. It's best if he does it. And then I was up at 3:33 a.m. Got up, got ready. I already packed before work. I had a whole day pretty free, pretty available. So then all I had to do in the morning was put the surfboard on, go to the toilet a couple times, have a Cliff Bar, peanut butter banana Cliff Bar, and then I put a little bit of peanut butter on top of it as well, just because I was like, I got a long way to drive, I don't want to get hungry. I don't think the added peanut butter was a mistake. It was very nice, but man did I need to poo when I got to Byron. Oh my god. I won't give you any more detail than that. You don't need any more detail, and I don't want to get in trouble for giving you any more detail than that. I came prepared for Byron. I have this thing where I don't spend silver coins and I only keep gold coins in my wallet. So every time I get change from buying things, I put it in this bag. There's like, I'm gonna say about $12 of silvers just there. I used $5 yesterday all up in traveling around because I went for a surf after and had to pay for parking at the pass. But we'll get there. So yeah, there wasn't a separate spot for the opens to rack. We were racked in amongst everybody else, which I think is cool. I think it's great to have us in amongst everyone every now and then. I do really appreciate those races where we do get that extra little bit of privilege of having our own section that's nice and clean. No one's going to touch, break or do anything to our bikes on accident. Of course, no one would deliberately do that. But stuff happens. People come out of the water cold and dizzy and disorientated, and which is always good to come to these races, these small local races like Byron, and get in amongst chaos. We'll go into why a bit not too much later. I was racked. I did my warm-up. I felt really good. Sunrise was heaps sick. I got down there, wanted to have like 5-10 minute swim warm-up, assess conditions, get a feel, but they were not organised once again. Typical Byron, I guess, is ever since they moved it from the Saturday Arvo to a Saturday morning or Sunday morning race, they just haven't been able to get their stuff together, which is crazy because NX Sports, who organised the Byron Tri, absolutely nail Kingy Tri, absolutely nail the that Brisbane cycling race. I forget what that's called. But all the other events run so smoothly. There's just something in Byron trying to get people organised before the sun. It just doesn't happen down there. And I made sure I didn't miss the race brief this year. So I knew exactly what we were doing. And I figured I'd be leading, so I better know what's going on. That was the case. Thankfully, I listened to the race briefing guy, and he was like, see that triangle red boy out there? Don't go to that. Go to those two orange boys and come in. So big C or a rectangle if you look at it, but it's out, across, back in. That was the course, simple as. We could see them. They were just like floaty boys that I guess nippers would use. They weren't big sight boys, so it was a little bit hard to see them on the way out going over the swell, but it wasn't too bad. I go to the first one, I turn left, and then some lifeguard guy on the lifeguard paddle ski was like, oi, 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 you gotta go out to this big boy. And I was like, nah, he said I don't have to. And then just kept going, and he's like, oh shit, he didn't know what to do. And I was like, well, I know what I'm doing. And he told me, and he's the official guy that's stressed out about today, so I'm going to listen to him instead of you, because last race I listened to you and you sent me to the wrong boy, and then Nick got away and ended up taking that win. But that whole race was another story anyway. So I almost got sent the wrong way again in the swim this year for a second time in a row. It's what happens when I lead swims. This is why I just sit on the feet all the time. It is really good leading a swim. I find I learn a lot because usually I just get pushed to sit and hold on someone's feet. But not having feet to hold on means I've got to keep the intensity on the whole time, which is great training and great practice. And it was a training race, turned into a training race. I then got to the next turn buoy and was like, yep, 1, 2, we're going to shore now. And I looked in and I couldn't see the sand. I couldn't see the sand actually. We were that far out in the ocean. It was so deep and a little bit scary. I was seeing shapes and shadows, freaking out a little bit. But staying cool, calm, collected, and just focus on swimming. And I was like, shark takes me, a shark takes me. It'd be a cool news story, whatever. Like, I've lived a good life. Let's just race. It's kind of my mindset with it. If I stress about it, I struggle twice. If it happens, it happens. How many people get eaten by a shark and get to spend the rest of their non-living lives in the ocean? Not many, thankfully. Not me as well, thankfully. I started to head into shore, and then some guy on a stand-up paddleboard that was only on his knees comes like chasing after me. It took him so long. I saw him and I was like, oh, maybe he's meant to be our lead swim guide to show me where to go. And he's like, you gotta go out to the next buoy. And I was like, he told me to go, and he goes, no, just go to the next one. So I mean, the swim entry was that way anyway, so I was like, oh, it's not anywhere out of my way. It just meant I come in, and then I made a right angle, and then I made another right angle, so I ended up swimming further than I had to. Luckily, I had a nice, comfortable lead on the rest of the guys, so it didn't really matter. They just got a bit closer, and then I swam away from them again. On the way back in, it was pretty good. It was offshore, so it was fighting the chop a little bit. And then the shorey was pretty solid. I managed to get this wave, and I've come down the peak of it, like doing that one where you come all the way down the face of the wave, and then as it's bottomed out, I've just gone for a big stroke, and then it's landed on my bum or my back somewhere, and just kind of folded me, and I got messed around. But because I do train in the surf all the time for swimming, I was used to it, and I know how to actually keep getting momentum while you're doing that. So I got some good momentum. I got into the lull area, kept swimming, got quite a gap from the rest of the guys from doing that, caught another shorey in, ran up the beach, then found out where I had to go, so that was good. And I really needed to pee. So this was the first time I've actually peed during a race. I got to my bike in transition, I stood there nice and comfortable, and went, oh, and just started peeing. Thankfully, I've done this before. I think it was either my swimming skins or my Tri-Australia suit, and it just came straight out. I was on the start line that time. Thankfully, my cannibal suit, it doesn't come straight out, so I'm putting my helmet on and there's pee's just gushing down my legs. I need to pee a lot whenever I'm cold or swimming, and whenever it's both of them, it's a lot. It's a thing. To the bike, and I had a lead bike, thankfully. It was a copper too, so he had the siren going, he had his flashy light going. On the first lap, I knew from every other time I've done Byron bike course since they've updated it to the 4 lap, that it gets really hectic out there doing the laps, because everyone is on course at the same time. For me, it was on lap 3, but I knew I had to have a first lap really good while there was no one out there. It was also learning the course, so that in case he wasn't there the next time, I knew where to go to. And on those sections where you can turn off the side of the road, those little island bits full of glass and rocks and messy stuff, so I knew not to hit those as well. I think a few people might have, because there was a lot of glass in them, which I definitely think they should look for those things. So that's a piece of advice that they can have. Make sure there's no glass on the bike course. That's a danger, and people hate getting flats, especially in your race wheels, especially during a race. I managed to dodge all that, and then of course on the second lap he went in and I kept going. Thankfully there wasn't as many people. There was maybe half the Olympic field, and maybe some of the sprint had started. I'm not too sure. I think it was just the Olympic field. And it wasn't too busy, but it was pretty busy. It was a little bit dangerous overtaking everyone on the right. And I got so sick of yelling, passing on the right, on your right, just coming through. It was so annoying. I was just trying to race. The idea was to race really hard and run on heavy tired legs, prepping for Moreton Bay this coming weekend, which is a 60k bike course that I'm going to do at the same pace, intensity and effort, hopefully, and then try and run the same pace, intensity. But it is what it is. The third lap ended up just being play it safe and don't get hit or don't ride into anyone else on the bike. Yeah, we got onto that third lap and I was like, all right, play it safe. I was averaging 42k an hour for the first 2 laps, and that third lap, I think I averaged under 40k. Just the amount of times I had to hit the brakes on a straight line because people were 3 or 4 wide both ways, and I had nowhere to go, and I just had to slow down and stop behind people. This is part of doing these small races, being in amongst just the everyday person having a crack. Stuffing up my gel situation a little bit. I didn't do it as well planned, but I ended up making the best out of the situation. I only packed 3 gels. Usually I have 4 for an Olympic. I'm also really sleep deprived from the last 2 nights. I had a chocolate, a raspberry, and a citrus Cliff gel, which I would have in that order on the bike, and then have a citrus on the run as well. But some reason I just forgot to put a 4th one in. I was like, oh yeah, no, that'll be right. 3 flavors were sweet. I had the chocolate at the start of the bike, the raspberry halfway through, and then on the last lap of the bike coming back into town, I just had one like squeeze of the citrus, so there was still a little bit left, so I could have that halfway through the run. I felt really pretty comfortable coming off the bike. I felt like I worked hard, my legs were a little bit heavy. I got onto the run, and as I get off the bike and I'm running through transition, so is all the sprint people. I was like, oh, I kind of wanted the fame of being the leader and having the lead bike and being seen as the guy winning the race, but the bike at like the same time, so it was just chaos on the run course too. We come out of transition, make a left, make a right, and then we had to run across the road. But as we're running across the road to go on this little out and back, everyone's coming back, and we had to literally just run straight across people. There was no organisation. If they had have told everyone to keep right on the run course and told us keep right of the cones, keep right of the cones, keep right of the cones, keep right, it would have flowed. No one told anyone this, or I don't know what the go was, but for some reason people were just cutting across. I guess we just instinctively just stay left all the time. So then we're just running straight through people, just mayhem. So we crossed over, we ran out, crossed back through the crowd, ran up, went to the next one, crossed through everyone, came back, and these up and backs was so thin. It was on this dirt road that's about as wide as my car. I nearly shoulder charged so many people. I won't apologise for the way I race, but I really hope I didn't affect your day or ruin it or negatively impact you at all. Especially on the bike, if I was too close, if I was too fast coming past you, if you didn't hear me yelling out at you that I was coming through. Hopefully you had a good day too, and you're like, wow, that guy's fast, not wow, this guy's a dickhead just trying to run into everyone, because that was not what I was trying to do. I was just trying to have a good race. The one went really smooth. It was a full lap, 2.5k course. I got all the laps right on the bike and the run this time. No confusion there. And then it was just like a really just chill kind of finish. I just ran across the line, and Pete's like, hey, Travis! Like kind of surprised I was coming through, and I was like, oh yeah, g'day, and he stuck his elbow out for one of those stupid things people do where they bump elbows, so I just punched it. I just ran through and just punched his elbow. But he did that. Do whatever you want, really. It's my issue. Yeah, it was nice and chill. I was really happy with my race. It was 1:48 overall, 41.2k an hour average on the bike, 3:24 average per kilometre on the run, and I think 1:19 average on the swim per kilometre. I tried to access results to see what the other years have done where people have won it, but it's cool to have my name on a pretty stacked list of winners, so I'll take that. We hung around we were told presentation was at 9:30. We got there at 9:30. Then we were told it was at 9:45. Then they did every other race. The kids, the sprints, the tempters, the aqua bike, everything for every age group. And then at 10:45, they started the Olympic, and then they eventually got to the Opens. I got this big ass trophy that was super heavy. Got to take a photo with it, and then I had to give it back to them because they keep it. I don't get it. And then as I've got what would have been I got my medal, and then they've gone to give me what would have been my check because I emailed them and asked if there was an Opens race for prize money. Otherwise, I was just going to train up for Moreton Bay. But I really needed the money this week because I didn't get any shifts at Bounce this week, and I just haven't had the opportunity for work. I've been trying, but I just haven't received any work. So I didn't have much of an income this week. Was expecting to get the 250 win from these events that's always on offer every other time, that I had to pay 155 to enter. And then they were like, oh, look, because there wasn't much of a field today in the Olympic race, we're just going to give you, because there wasn't much of a field today in the Olympic race, you didn't work hard enough for the prize money, so here's a free entry for next week. And it would have been all calm and chill if she just had said, oh, there just wasn't enough people for prize money, here's a free entry. But she told me I didn't work hard enough, and I got so triggered, it ruined the rest of my day. Oh my God. I was just flat and deflated, partly because I really needed that money. I'm not sure what I'm going to do for rent. I am at the markets, and this market shift does pay the same as what my rent is, but I get paid fortnightly for Bounce, and I didn't work last week. So I don't know what I'm doing to the next week, but it comes, it flows. Hopefully Moreton Bay will have some prize money and I'll be able to pay rent. Also saving up and trying to build a tiny house at the moment. Also want to go on a holiday with Michaela for being so amazing. She's honestly, the best thing in my life is sharing my life with Michaela. I was so flat, tired and deflated after yesterday. I went for a little surf and it wasn't amazing. And in your head you're like, Byron, it's perfect surf. It's like a quick mal sesh. It wasn't the best. It was pretty hectic. So I come home so exhausted after minimal sleep. I didn't even get a nap. And then just coming home, talking to Michaela about my day, about her day. Just felt so happy. Then we watched a movie, had some great food. It was just such a good energy. And I was like, this is my favourite part of Saturday was Michaela coming home and being able to hang out with her over racing and surfing in Byron, hanging out in Byron, winning a race, having an amazing performance that I'm heaps proud of. Seeing Michaela was a favourite bit, so I really want to be able to look after her and spoil her over the off season. Peace out. I'll see you at Moreton Bay next week, or the race report from Moreton Bay.